Good morning, my name's Teresa and I work at the Kerikeri Shadehouse in Kerikeri. We're a social service as enterprise in some ways, but we are a plant nursery and we grow native seedlings for revegetation projects, from land care groups to private groups to farmers wanting to plant riparian areas, etc. In the local northern region. We grow for as far north as Whangaroa now and down past Russell out onto the east coast down there. In previous years we've grown from Cape Reinga all the way down to Breamhead, somewhere down that area, so we've actually grown quite a lot. And our diversity is huge, so probably about 65 different species. So from your coastal sand dune species, which are your pangau grasses and plants like that, right through to your species, your tall trees, your pūreres, your broadleaf forests, inland forests in areas like Puketi and places like that. So there's a huge variety in such a sort of small setup, really. Everything is done here without power, so we rely on batteries for our watering services, things like that. So it's quite an impressive situation. Probably about 25,000 plants roughly each year, of which we put out about 17,000 each year. The some are growing on into 2 or 3 year old plants before they go out into the system.
How long does it take from seed through to when the plants actually go out?
Some it's simply a year, season to season, so it depends on the species. Others it can be up to 3 years. So your bigger plants like your kauri, your milk trees, your pūrere, we like to take on to about 3 years. They're a more viable plant at that stage in the ground, so more likely to survive.
And they're all grown from seed?
All grown from seed.
And that seed's usually collected from the area where they're going back to?
It is correct. So they're all ecologically sourced as far as we can. So we have a few seed collectors, people bringing in. We like to be able to bring them from forest growing trees, not from backyard trees, because we don't know the origin of the species there. So they all come from areas where we know they will be the original species or variety of the plant. Yeah.
And so what's want to show us around the
Okay, so come on through. So this is basically the powerhouse in here.
Yeah.
This is where we start the process once the seeds arrive here. So they'll come in various forms and bags and whatever forms they are picked in. That one's actually empty, but here we go. This morning we start with that one. So these are, without my glasses on, Pseudopanax lawsonii. So this is quite a hard species to grow.
From somewhere called Gorse Island, isn't it?
Gorse Island, which is out in the bay, out on the Bay of Islands, yeah. So we have a very young man who's very keen, a local man and a young boy in the area, and when he goes out on the islands with his dad on a boat or something like that, he'll source these seeds on areas that we don't generally get to. So that's great. So that gives us quite a good variety with the DNA, with the plants that we've got here, stronger plants. So they come in, we go through the process of recording them, which will come into this system here. So everything is labelled and recording A through to Z of the seed, and it is recorded as into when it's been collected, when it's been registered, the area it comes from, so the eco district, and who it was collected by, so we know that there are people who know what they're doing with the seed collection. The place collected from. So in the Puketi, this is Dan, he's a dock ranger, he collects them from the Puketi. He'll actually tell us what area of the Puketi he collects them from, and that helps him to know where to go back to. It gives us a better understanding of where the seeds have come from for the environment they might need to go back into, things like that. And then we go through the process here of when we've propagated them, which project they're going to. So in this case, they'll go back into the Puketi forest. Everything that usually comes from the Puketi goes back into the Puketi. Some of them won't. Some of them will be used in different projects around. So it depends what, as long as they're within that ecological district, i.e. Kerikeri, Puketi, Whangaroa, whatever. Then it's recorded as the dates we propagate them, the date they germinated in the house, and then notes Rosie puts here. So if things haven't germinated, we'll put a little note so we know, okay, if that happens 2 years in a row, we'll go, well, okay, what date was it collected? Maybe we're not quite in the right dates to be collecting them. Maybe it's not the right time, which is interesting actually, because we have a calendar here, a seed collection calendar that shows us when to collect the seeds, and we've put this together over the years and years of us collecting the seeds with the information we've had. But we've noticed in the last 2 or 3 years whether it's climate change or what it is, that the collection times are slightly moving.
Right.
So they're either becoming earlier or later.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting information for us to gradually put together into a
Right.
document that we
And so
can
you've
present.
been running for what, about 25 years, is it?
20, I think 23 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
yeah.
getting a feel for what's going
a
on
good
out
feel
there.
for what's going on,
Yeah.
and we've kept everything. We've recorded everything as we've gone, so it's really good. It gives us good information.
Yeah.
You know, because we're coming from the same areas all the time. So yeah, that's just an interesting aside
Oh,
at the
right.
moment that we're noticing. The seeds are held all here, and they're held in paper containers, and they just go through from A to Z with the seeds, and everything is recorded on them.
Yeah.
It's not very clear. Here we go. The date they were collected, date they were registered, so that's the date Rosie registers them here. And then later on, when we put them into the seed trays, which I'll show you in the propagating house, the date that they were propagated and then germinated later on when they come up. So that goes through there. At the end of each season, which is, we've just done that about a month ago, we go through the seeds, check to see how many are still viable. I keep as many as I can until the following year of seed collection, so that if we don't get seeds that year, we've still got seeds from the year before that we can rely on. So it's quite a process.
Yes,
system,
yes, it is.
Which is really good. Yeah. We have the ecological areas here, which are all identified with different coloured tags that you can see there. And within that, when we go into the prop house, you'll see how we show which area they are, when they were planted, etc. So that covers us probably pretty much in here.
Right.
We go on through into the propagation house. So these are our watering battery systems, run systems. So
Yep.
we just have to regularly check the batteries on those. We just record them in the diary when they were changed, and we know how long roughly they'll last for. So you can see there's no electricity in here, so we don't have any peat beds. And when you're growing something from a grass, a carrot sector or a pingao grass or something like that, right through to puriri, they generally require quite different watering systems. So ours is all one system.
Right.
And we have quite a bit of success from that point of view. So this is our Karnika seedlings, they're just coming up. So you can see, it tells us there, Kunzia erigoides, and the dates that we were just talking about before. We've got 2 trays. So we've got 2 trays. They've come from the pink area, which is Whangaruru, which is the Bay of Islands area.
Right.
And it tells you the date they were germinated. So they were propagated on the 26th of June, germinated a month, not quite a month later, on the 17th, which is fairly standard. So that gives me more information too, to know, okay, if something hasn't come up,
Yeah.
like kauri, for instance. Kauri, you have to pick them as soon as the cones burst. You need the seed, and within 7 days, you need to be propagating them. After that, their viability goes down, but kauri will germinate within 10 days. So you've
Right.
got this massive tree.
Oh, gosh.
Germination is shortest, viability of the seed is the shortest.
Right.
Whereas something like Karnika, these are last year's seeds, so I can hold these over for a couple of years. So it's just interesting with the different species,
Yeah.
how they work. And it goes on through. These are kowhai. Unfortunately, the snails love them. Naitia, which is rewarewa. Those there, so you can see as
Yeah.
you go through, you'll see the different times, how much longer they've taken. You can tell by the moss on the trays as we go on through. So we've got just about a full prop house. So I was just about to take them out. So when they get to this sort of stage,
Yep.
probably have another week or 2 there, and then we take them out to harden off, which is the next stage just outside here.
Right.
So that doesn't have the same watering system, doesn't have the warmth that this room has
Yep.
with the sunlight and the obviously the clear light we've got in here
Yeah.
creates a lot warmer environment. So we'll head on out there now. This one's controlled by a watering system too that is separate. So this one
Right.
comes on, the one at the moment in the prop house I have coming on once a day as misters. We're probably just going into now, it's slightly warmer and slightly longer days, so I'll put it on to twice a day so they
Yeah.
don't dry out. This one comes on once a day for 3 minutes. So you can see these seedlings, I've just bought most of these out this morning. So the mahaui at the back there have been out for nearly 3 weeks, so they're fully hardened off and ready to be pricked out. These ones need probably about a week to 2 weeks in here. I'll just
Right.
analyse that as the weeks go on.
So when they go from that, they then go into this
Correct.
potting
They
stage,
go into
do they?
potholes, yes.
Yeah.
And to the large potholes. Some will go into free draining potholes, so you can see the different types. One will have a flat surface, like that. which is not free draining,
Right.
and then the Kawakawa should be in free draining. Here they are, which
Yeah.
has ribs on it. You can see the ribs on these ones, so that allows more drainage, which they require.
How do you get
Unfortunately,
on with trees that sort of are more shade
Lumming.
trees versus ones that like a lot of light?
Yeah. Okay, well that's a good question. So this part of the nursery, each part is slightly different. So this part you can see we have shade cloth.
Yeah.
About the end of August, early September, we start looking at what the days are doing and how
Right.
hot the weather is, and we'll start pulling that across.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're fine.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're fine, except unfortunately we had a bit of frost, so the Kawakawa have just been touched by frost, so they're sitting there looking at
And
us.
you get the odd frost down here, do you?
Very odd, yeah. We
Yeah.
used to, probably 10 years ago, I've been here for 21 years now, and about 10 years ago we used to get frosts regularly, but in the last 10 years we haven't had many at all.
No.
And they're very light.
So once they get past this stage, you then go into sleeves, do they?
Correct, into bags, yep.
Yeah.
These will go into PB3s, so they stay in PB3s, they'll go out
Right.
into the field in
Yeah.
PB3. And again, that's another process. Some, whichever plant they are, like say we take the tarari here, they'll go into PB2s, they've then got to be into PB5s, and
Yeah.
sometimes into PB8s. So as they go on.
So the bigger trees like the kauri and
Correct,
kauri
yeah.
and things like that will go into the bigger ones.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
So a lot of the ones we see like the kawakawa, they're just coming down like that.
That's right.
Or they'll be probably a bit slightly bigger than that.
They will be.
Yeah.
Hopefully will be. Yeah. Hopefully will be. So
Yeah.
they'll go out of here. So they're they're 3 shift really. It's a stage from the seed trays into the pots and then into the bags.
Yeah. And of course August is coming up to August, all the planting's pretty much been done. Hence it's looking very empty now because all your plants have pretty much gone.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of analysing what I've got for next year, because I don't always have the same variety of plants each year,
Right.
and different clients have different demands
Yeah.
for different species. So now I just analyse. So this part of the nursery can be shade clothed all over.
Right.
So those will be the ones that you talked about earlier that need the shade.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll stay in here for their lives basically until they go out. The next lot this has a different watering regime as well. The plants over in this area don't have shade, but they'll have a different watering regime, but we want sun on them. So we want the water, but we also want them to harden off.
Yeah.
So just 3 different areas, and there's an area outside which we call hard stand. Those are the very hardy ones, again on a totally different regime, direct sun.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many people do you have working down here?
Yeah, we have a good crew. We probably have about 15 to call on. And we just ask that people come in every Thursday for about 4 hours a day. That, as far as running the nursery, gives me a good idea of the hours of labour I have
Yeah.
and what input we can put into it.
And they each have their own sort of areas of responsibility or tasks?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, everyone sort of, with volunteers, it's really lovely working with volunteers because people find their own place in
Yeah.
a system, and so you give them that responsibility for the place that they find, and then it just sort of works really well. So, once somebody has a responsibility, everyone goes to them for that job. So it works really well, actually.
Yeah.
Works quite well. And of course, we can't demand that people come every Thursday. A lot of people will have time out. They've got family, friends, either here in New Zealand and overseas. Some people have jobs still. So yeah, it's what hours they can put in, but it's good if they can give us 4 hours. That gives me a good labour base
Yeah.
to work with.